Dumpling. Prepped vacations. You guys know about this? Wait till you hear about this. Jobby and Uber. Remember VTOL? Remember all that joke about VTOL in 2017, 2018? We got that again. Uber and Instacart still trying their games up in Seattle. Ain't working. And is Lyft headed? I mean, I've been saying this as a joke, but is Lyft headed for bankruptcy? We're going to talk about it all and more just on the other side.
Well, midnight headlight, blinding on a rain night, Steve laid up ahead, slow me down and making no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Goes a windshield wiper, slapping out the tempo, break the rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling. Ooh, I'm driving my life away.
Whoa. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. Look who's back. We got Shawn back with us. And we got Shawn
What's
all
up,
month.
y'all?
So,
Oh,
and I mean,
geez.
and there's like, I'm going to try and build on it. You guys know how I do things and how I try and when I have a guest, and I'm going to try and build it each week. We're not just going to sit here every week and rip on Waymo, even though we could double the length of the show and do it all 4 weeks for 2 hours
Right.
a week. I mean, the videos now are just popping. They're everywhere.
I know, man. I just pulled another one today that I'm either going to do a short on or for during my podcast. But real quick, thanks for having me back, Steve. Guys, I'm loving being back here again. Hopefully, we're going to have a lot of fun like we have in the past.
And Shawn, by the way, just did episode 5 of his podcast. So check it out. It's in the show notes at CO Ride Guy. So, but it's in the show notes, guys. You don't need to remember it. Just go down there and click it.
Nope.
You know, give it a follow. If you don't want to follow it, don't follow. But give it a follow, give it a like. We all know that in the beginning he needs that to get in there. So you'll at least help him get the jump start. But I think you're going to stick around. You know, he's being honest, and and it's all, to me, this isn't a bad thing. It's always fun watching. I've watched some podcasts come up. It's always fun watching people grow, because like by not that there's anything. It might be exactly the same in 10 episodes. Watch, this thing might be like totally different in how Shawn does it, or maybe it won't. Mine did. I mean, that's why I'm saying it. That's why I don't mind saying it, because mine, the first 10 episodes, if you go listen to the first 10 episodes and then you listen to like what I'm doing now in the 500s, and it didn't take that long. It was just the first 10 they weren't awkward. They were just me figuring stuff out, and just kind of, it felt choppy going through it to me. So.
Well, and I've been counting the number of ums. And so once I quit, once I'm able to reduce that down to a handful, then we're going to be in a lot better shape. And honestly, that is it. Once you get comfortable with it, you quit using those filler words and things. But I'm already changing things up. So next week, and I haven't even told you, Steve, or nobody else, I'm not going to be focused on safety this next week. We're going to be doing something completely different. I'm going to be dissecting something that it comes out every year, so I think a lot of people already know what that is, and I'm going to go through it in a huge report and get down into the nitty gritty of it, so everybody else doesn't have to.
So, Shawn, let me ask you one question? What is it going to be about?
Yeah. It's going to be about the GigWise report. I mean, come on, everybody knows that's
you just
what
said I'm not going to tell
today.
you. You just said I'm not going to tell you, and I thought, see if this is
man.
Right now.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point. I mean, that's what everybody waits for every year, and it's 79 pages already, and I've kind of skimmed through it, so I'm going to dissect it so everybody else doesn't have to.
Yeah, now you just gave away too much, because I was thinking, like, don't tell us.
There's 79 pages, whatever.
So before I say hi to the chat, while you guys are all showing up here, I just want to say this. So above Shawn tonight, you'll see the not Rideshare Rodeo podcast. You will see the original Rideshare Rodeo podcast, which is the gas mask with the peace sign that I did in 2000. It actually, the original one had flowers too. It was supposed to be like a fighting for peace, but at the same time, my podcast was beginning. My first podcast dropped in May of 2020. We were a month into stay-at-home orders, so it was about gas masks, and it actually was about like 3M masks and how you couldn't get them. And I was like, dude, this is like this is my rideshare logo. So it's up there, but it's up there for a different reason right now. The peace thing and everything. It just kind of felt it with everything going on in the world that I'd put it up there. And and sometimes I do it anyway, but I just wanted to do that.
I think that's a great message, man. But I do got to poke at you and ask you, were you living in Boulder whenever you created that?
No, dude, I don't wear Birkenstocks. I don't shop on Pearl Street Mall. I don't have enough money to walk down Pearl Street Mall.
Right. You can't afford
I've never been into the Crocs store. No. But then right above me, by the way, guys, look at, and I'm going to leave this up. This is the QR code that will, just that alone will take you to the change.org that we've been doing for again, all I'm asking on this is go to the change.org, that, and that'll be in the show notes too after the show. But if it's all about transparency, it's not about dollar amounts. We have over 300 signatures. I'm trying to get us to 500, and this is a battle year for a lot of things going on. Please read. This is all I'm asking. Please read it. If you agree, add your name and your email. That's all it asks for. It does maybe by, like, you can, once it says it's accepted, you can just close it. But it does at the bottom say, do you want to donate? You do not have to donate. It's free. If you scroll down a little farther, it just says, I can't at this time. Just do that. Because it's the donations help them push it out like an algorithm, but like a paid one. And we don't need that. We just need the word of mouth.
Right.
And then the last thing before we move into things is that anybody that, or the two people that won expedite bags and shirts, those were shipped. And all the curry hats that won in December, hey, better late than never. And I appreciate you guys being cool, but they've all been shipped as well. And I contacted each of you that won. So you guys all know you got some stuff coming. If it's not, it'll probably be there by Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, but by next Thursday, for sure, it should all be there, or there was an issue with your order. So I'm going to leave all that.
Congratulations. Where's my expedite hat? What the hell?
Dude, we had the final roundtable, we had a drawing. Or like
I saw that. No, congrats to everybody.
There's a StreamYard tool called giveaways. You put another browser open and you just go StreamYard.com giveaways, and then it says pick the live. You pick the one you're on, and it allows you to import it. But okay, guys, let's get into it. So the first thing here, so Shawn, I'm giving you a situation here.
Oh, well, geez.
No, this is good. This is good.
You're
gonna like this. And then, guys, before we go into the after this, I'm gonna say hi to everybody here. I just wanted to give you a chance to get in here. But Shawn, okay, you have applied for Uber, or to work at Uber, not to be a driver.
Okay.
You've applied for a good position. You have the job after 3 grueling interviews. They've been leading you on, kind of not knowing for 2 weeks. Okay.
Right.
Now, you sit down at a table, you've been hired, and across the table, Dara sits down. And this is what he says.
You come to Uber, you're going to work your ass off. We're going to be really demanding. If you're not performing, we're going to let you know. And if you don't fix it, we're going to push you out. But while it will be incredibly hard, you will have real agency of the company. We're a big company, but individuals can make a big difference. And it's a company that's making a difference in the world. You're going to learn so much. And while you will have worked hard, you're going to have a great time.
Okay, so that just happened. What you're sitting, I'm him, you're sitting across from me. What do you say?
Yep. I'm gonna say, that's really great. I appreciate hard work, but you don't even give your drivers the empowerment to make decisions for themselves without severe penalty. So how the hell can you have one of your workers that work for you on your W-2 payroll have the same empowerment. I say that's crap.
So are you quitting?
Oh, you saw I quit whenever he first
Right.
came
So
on. I was like,
so here would have
you
been
know,
mine.
but
I literally would have been like,
no,
dude,
I
I've been
wouldn't have
applying for
I
this
wouldn't
job
have
for
quit.
months. I've jumped through your hoops.
No,
I've done this. And if you don't think that I don't know the vibe on the street with the drivers,
right.
you're screwed, man. So like I if you hadn't said this, I might have taken the job for the money. Maybe. I don't know who the person is doing it. But you know what? You sitting down and doing this, I just want to punch you in the face. That's what I'd say.
No, and I'm with you, Steve. But the thing is, I wouldn't have quit because I'd have stayed in there and tried to fight for. Because I'm an idiot, not really, but my principals tell me go fight for the cause, and I would have
Yeah.
sat there and fought until I got fired or asked to leave with a compensation package because they wouldn't have been stupid enough to hire me in the first place. But and not stupid because I wouldn't be a good fit, but stupid because I don't fit their culture.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, or burn the building down, something.
Oh, I'm not Milton, but I do have a red stapler. If I knew you were going to make that comment, I
You
would have
guys,
brought it for a prop.
by the way, oh shit. Wait, what? Wait, breaking news is coming in. We'll be right back.
Good evening. We're following breaking news tonight out of San Francisco, where Uber has abruptly fired the executive in charge of its driver background checks. Company officials say an internal review revealed that the background checks being conducted were not criminal background checks at all. Instead, they were checks of the backgrounds and photos drivers submitted of themselves. Let's check in with our tech reporter, Dot Matrix. Dot?
Tim, according to Uber, the employee believed his role was to analyze visual elements behind drivers.
As it turns out, the single Uber employee doing background checks was actually looking at the walls, furniture, lighting, and what he described as overall vibe. Internal documents show drivers were flagged for cluttered rooms, suspicious curtains, and what one memo called, quote, "It looks like he stinks." No criminal databases were accessed during this process.
This was an honest misunderstanding. When he told us he had excellent background checking skills, we just did not ask the right follow-up question. Oops.
The confusion reportedly lasted several years, which is pretty standard for Uber. I'm Dot Matrix. Back to you, Steve, or whatever.
Thanks, Mom. And in other news tonight, big developments in the world of baseball. Let's check in with Jack Strapp, who's itching to fill us in on the latest.
I mean, we all saw it coming. That was a exclusive right there, guys. That just happened.
Told you I had a red swing line. I wasn't lying.
So anyway, that's what he was talking about with the Milton thing. Anyway, let me say hi to who's here first before we fully jump in here. So what's up, Sue? Hey, awesome Amy, Traveler, and we got Rideshare I almost called you Rodeo. Rideshare Road Warrior Rick. We got I hope I'm not missing people. It's going slow. Torp, what's up?
Got Torp in there.
Yeah. Lynn, what's up, Lynn? And
Joe, what's up? Jam Woodworking.
I'm guessing this was Sue's answer probably to Mr. Derek Kashashawi is his name, in case you ever want to like stalk him or anything. That's his name. But I'm not telling you should, but if you want to pick a total douche and stalk him, that'd be a good guy to do. Oh boy. Jam Woodworking. I know that from your stream. I don't remember his name.
That's Joe. What's up, brother?
Oh, what's up, Joe? And then we got a lot of laughing emojis. By the way, guys, that was made by Tom Kelly, not me. Tom Kelly put that together for me. And if you noticed at the very end, the lady says, it took Uber a couple years to get this figured out, which is pretty normal for Uber. And then she goes, back to you, Steve. And he says, thanks, Mom.
Mom, yeah.
So the whole thing was a play on me too. So anyway, And oh,
Did
hey,
we say
I
hi
don't.
to Traveler? What's up, Traveler?
I think I said hi to Traveler, didn't I?
I don't know.
But I
I
also
did
see
just
this
now.
other one here too. I can't really. JL Rose
JL
audio?
Rose Audio. Yeah, welcome in.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome in, of course. So this first thing, did you get a chance to look at this Louisiana mayor?
Yes.
Did you see this? It's just a short,
I
quick story.
yeah, I saw, right. Go ahead.
Okay. So let me read you guys this title. So, and it threw me at first because it said former LA mayor, and I was like, but it said L small a dot, and I was like,
Right.
what?
Small
Well,
A. Right.
I don't know why they do that in Louisiana. When you put LA, people think of Los Angeles. It doesn't matter. Put your whole
Right.
word. You can't abbreviate. But it said that's what grabbed me at first. But then I read this and I just can't believe it. So, former Louisiana mayor ordered Plan B off DoorDash after allegedly sexually abusing son's friend. Who are we electing here?
It's Louisiana. That's
right. So the DoorDash driver testified that he delivered the Plan B to Misty Roberts. She was the former mayor, home after a July 2024 party. Misty Roberts was rearraigned on charges of carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with a juvenile after a prior indictment was vacated. Court proceedings include testimony and recorded interviews presented to the jury. So jurors in the trial of the former, I hope I get this city right, it's pretty simple, DeRidler, I think, Louisiana mayor Misty Roberts heard testimony that this week that a DoorDash driver delivered Plan B emergency contraception to her home shortly after she allegedly sexually assaulted a teen boy.
I mean, maybe she was mad it wasn't meth. I don't know. I mean,
don't worry, guys. This story isn't about you drivers or us drivers. It's the driver just did his job.
This is
and
about
good
the
thing too,
recipient.
because otherwise, yeah. So Robert's 43.
Can you bring her mug? Can you bring her mug shot up? I mean, everybody
I can't.
likes mug.
I wish I would have loaded it in because what are you trying to get at?
They're missing the meth comment that I made about maybe she's looking for meth instead.
Does she look like meth? I don't think she looks like meth.
She's an early on tweaker. Come on.
I would say that she's a tweaker 3 times in recovery.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like in her third recovery.
We don't know.
This probably collapsed her and sent her back to her 4th time. So she's back on.
Right.
Let's just assume. Sorry, Mitzi, but we're on deal.
Yeah.
But so, this was a party at their house. She was initially arrested in August of 2024 on the charges of third degree rape and contributing to the delinquency of juveniles. According to the state police, Roberts resigned as mayor days before turning herself in. The current trial follows months of delay. An earlier indictment was I think they meant squashed. I hate it when people have bottom line here, though, I want to go back up instead of reading the whole story because I want to move into our other topics tonight. But I do want to ask: what's going on here? Did she get a woman? She sexually assaulted a boy. What's the Plan B for him?
Okay, now you got. But I think you're missing the real story. Her last name is Roberts. Is she any kin to the Duck Dynasty people?
Maybe she again. You brought up how she looks. She does look like if you said she was related to one of them, I would say Okay.
I'm not saying she is. I'm asking, is she?
No, I
because
mean,
her
by
last
looking
name's
at her, though, I've
Robert.
seen some of the women on that show. And not that there's
Right.
anything wrong with the women on that show, but she does look like some of them. Kind of, she has that
Yeah.
look. But I really
All
need to
right.
know. I really need to know, what was the plan B for? Was there another person that had sex? And
I
like, did
don't know.
did she and her daughter double team the dude? And the plan B was for her daughter?
I don't know. I think we turned into TMZ instead of Rideshare Rodeo podcast.
All right, guys. Listen, the DoorDash driver did his job. He got it there in time.
Yeah.
But the story's weird. And I'll share that into the or during a video or something. Or when Shawn's talking, I'll find it and I'll share the link into the thing so you guys can have it. Because afterwards, I want everybody to read it, and then after this, and then comment on this video and let us know what you think is going on.
It really is bizarre. I mean, Sue thinks that, Sue's being all logical, God forbid, saying it was for her, but well, I don't know.
Well, how old was she?
I don't know, but
why didn't wait a minute. Why didn't she just drive herself? She had to call DoorDash for it? Like, I am so lazy, and this teenager just screwed me last night, and so I need to get an abortion.
Well, no, wait, hold on
so
a second.
lazy.
Have you never?
And I'm the mayor. And I'm the mayor of this town.
Well, okay. Have you never delivered a Plan B?
Yeah, but it's always off.
Because I was going to say, come on, right?
But it's always off. I never have delivered one to the mayor king dipshit over here, Mike Johnston.
Right. To Johnson.
No, Mike
Johnson.
Mike Johnston, our mayor.
Yeah,
worst mayor in America, or he's up there for sure. Just a total piece of crap.
Right.
But where were we? Just kidding. So, okay. So before we move into this Jobby and Uber thing, I do have a video that all of you in the audience, I want your views on this. It's 1 minute long. This is this is the situation that happened in Austin. Shawn knows exactly what I'm talking about with the ambulance.
Yep.
If you're not familiar, or if you are, watch this. It's 1 minute long, and please comment your thoughts at the end of it.
Waymo self-driving car blocks emergency traffic, exposing technological limits. At the scene of a shooting in Austin, a Waymo self-driving car became the center of attention on social media. As an ambulance rushed to this to assist the victims, the Waymo self-driving car suddenly stopped in the street, completely blocking traffic. Although there was plenty of space behind the car to reverse, the self-driving car driver failed to take action, remaining stationary, which severely delayed the rescue process. This incident quickly sparked in, especially when self-driving cars cannot handle complex and urgent urban environments. We must reconsider its true suitability for such scenarios. Even more concerning is that with more cities adopting autonomous driving technology, people are starting to worry that if these cars cannot effectively respond to emergencies, they could pose a threat to public safety. Many netizens and citizens are questioning whether self-driving cars should be responsible for actions like assisting in rescues and emergency situations. What do you think needs to be improved in self-driving technology to better handle such emergencies? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
So while Shawn says his thoughts, why don't you guys put any of yours, if you have any? A lot of you are used to us doing this, but
this whole thing and that video only showed a couple of clips of that actual situation, but it was just completely from the beginning. The damn thing was sitting literally parallel, I mean, in the middle of the road, blocking both lanes. Where to begin with, that's just a screw up in itself. And then, of course, we had this active shooter situation, which creates a whole lot of other problems. Thank God that there was other first responders that were able to get in there and to be able to administer aid. And, hopefully this was just a backup ambulance, because they did state that luckily this did not contribute to any additional harm to any of the subjects. But this is legislators got to wake the hell up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. What did Sue say? Cops, firefighters should have an override option to move these damn Waymos.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but take that shit off the street
Well,
altogether.
and
Yeah, I
that's
agree, Amy.
and actually
We
that's
talk
one
about that
thing.
all the time.
Right. That's one thing in the original video is that a cop did try to get in and move it, which we know made it even worse because it just completely shuts down at that point. Once you touch steering wheel or anything else, it says, no, I ain't doing shit until you get away from it.
Yeah. Here's something that did I want to make sure I don't have it down here so that we don't talk about it twice. Okay, so
Traveler says it got scared. Yeah, well, it probably should have.
yeah, but I don't see Traveler knows, he knows me well. Like, I don't care the reason anymore. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is it doesn't work. And it's a
Right.
danger to people. So you know what? Like, let's quit talking about these stories because they're rolling out more and more and more. You know, they're self-insured, and that's not okay. You know, like I was thinking in my own head too, like, dude, if they're self-insured and they're going to be on the road with us, all our insurance should be paid by Waymo.
Right. But the problem is they are self-insured, but the issue is that they're backed by Alphabet because that's who primarily owns them, and their subsidiary. Okay, that's fine. But come into the day, they've got all the attorneys in the world, and we've talked about it. You've had
I
guests
know.
talk about the product liability shit with this. This is
I know.
this
And
is
we're going to
scary,
actually
man.
come around to that in just a second, a different product liability
Yep.
thing. But I guess what I was saying is, like, right now in Denver, okay, we have some Waymos, right? I've seen it. I've seen them
Right.
a couple times. I slapped a sticker on one. They have a driver in them, a safety driver mapping the city. Right now, if that Waymo hits a kid or hits a car, that driver is responsible.
Right.
Did you know that? I don't know if you knew
Well,
that.
of course.
Like, okay, but I mean, like, completely the same way the Uber story in Phoenix and all these other ones,
Yep.
they are fully responsible. Just it's like a Tesla in FSD mode. You know, like, you're going to be
Right.
responsible for what it does. However, dude, these people have jobs that I know Waymo drivers make around $20 an hour. If you think
Right.
that's worth that, you are insane, dude.
Nope.
But here's my
I would
thing.
say
So the day that they're done and the driver leaves the car, so the driver's life will be ruined if he hits somebody. Ruined.
yep.
But the day that they say, okay, we're ready, and the city gets enough briefcases of money and says, fine, go.
Right.
And the driver's out of there, like you were saying about product liability, but not just that, all these states, all of them have the same stupid rule. You can't sue if there's not a driver. Why? I mean, we've even suggested that, dude, well, okay, have only one backup driver per car, like Sue was saying, because they're never going to allow I said this a long time ago, and I think Sue knows it too, that cops, firefighters, give them emergency shutoffs.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to ever do that. And in those cases, they'll win. We've seen them win cases they shouldn't, because they'll be able to say there's no way police and fire get regulation over our vehicles. And my argument would be like, dude, the regulation, there is no regulation for your space, you idiots. So,
Right.
but what I think is they definitely need to drive one driver for sure. You know, like, we've always been told there's like 4 or 6 vehicles being monitored by each driver. But I think it needs to be one driver, their vehicle. In fact, they should be paying the test drivers a ton. And then that person should be working into almost like the police canine thing. They should be working that's their Waymo.
Yep.
And then they operate that Waymo from the control center, and they are fully responsible for everything it does.
Right. But
And I'm sorry, all these people wouldn't take these jobs, but this is what needs to happen, because Shawn was mentioning the quadrillions of dollars that Google has. But nonetheless, even when Brian Greening was on, he backed up what I was saying, where I was going, that, yeah, but they have these pillar insurances. And he's like, but I'm like, but you just said Google has all the money, not you. He did. And he was like,
Right.
yeah, but they don't have, they can't prove they have enough to cough it up if it needed be. So they use
But
pillars of insurance.
it doesn't matter because to begin a product liability suit, that's why all this stuff goes to class action suits. Brian talked about it. It just doesn't happen because it's so hard to freaking prove. And it's so hard to prove because it's so expensive to litigate. So you're gonna have
Yeah.
an attorney that's gonna, not gonna do it on a on a pro bono case ever, but they're
No.
never going to do it without taking a retainer, and so they're never going to go to court because they're going to spend $300,000-$400,000 just to prove they're wrong, maybe
Or more.
and then they got right, and then they got to get in
Because
front of a jury.
I was thinking about this too. Like, remember how when I was talking to Bryant, I said the LiDAR's made in Norway.
Right.
They really are. All these parts are made in different places. This is by design, by the way,
Yep.
guys.
Absolutely.
And in fact, they're made in different countries. This is by design that they take 8 different parts in the kit from 8 countries and put them together onto a vehicle, because the product liability then needs to cross international borders on 8 different fronts. And if they find out if the LiDAR, dude, I'm sure they've connected all these in a central hub.
Oh yeah,
Therefore,
absolutely.
if they do prove the LiDAR doesn't work, they'll be able to go, well, but that all ties into the hub. So it could have been, now you got to sue the other 7. So that 400,000 is going to actually be around 2 to 4 million.
Right.
So
easily.
So while we're there, and I want you to lead us on this one because you talked about it. I've talked about it a ton of times. So I want to hear what you have to say on it. And then I want to respond to it. This Joby and Uber test commercial electric air taxis, an exclusive Dubai launch. So first of all, I need to say a couple things, and then I'm going to let Shawn say his piece on it. But they partnered up in 2017, 2019, 2022. I looked it up. These have all happened. This is now the 4th time they've partnered up. Every time it's a Dubai launch too. Every time it didn't happen too. Now, I want you to tell me, like, what's different this time. I know that you have a view on this, and you might be right, but you have a view on this, and I want to go through something.
Yeah, no, and this is, and you're absolutely right, Stephen. I talked about it on my podcast. Is that the difference is now they have Toyota money and Toyota investment in this. Now, you could still potentially, I'm going to hedge my bet a little bit, but I still think, that I think by 2030, and yes, that's only 4 years away, that we're going to see these things doing the same thing that Uber is doing, is that they're going to be doing a whole lot of different pretend test flights and so on and so forth, or not Uber, Waymo, sorry, is doing. I think by 2030 it's going to be happening. And Dubai is so progressive with that kind of stuff. I think they'll accept the risk of it. And I think they can throw enough suitcases of money, as you like to refer to it, that they're going to start doing it. And Toyota has 2 dogs in the fight, because Toyota is looking at the fuel cell technology with hydrogen. And now they're doing a mix between hydrogen and electric with it. And that's why they're getting that 200 miles an hour and the longer range that they are out of it. So that's why I think that it's going to go. And I know you have a little bit different opinion on that. So I'd love to hear your rebuttal on that.
But look, okay, so here's the thing. First of all, the hydrogen has been involved. It's gotten more, and a lot of companies are working with hydrogen stuff. That's a big thing. But
sure.
The hydrogen has been involved since the 2017 pairing. They listed it then too. To be hydrogen. Right. Okay, so let's go through a few things. So first, I want to play. This is a very short video. I just want to play it. It's not the product liability one that we showed you before, but it is another one on this that it's not as good either, but it does raise a couple different points. So I found this. I want to play it, and then I want to read a couple things.
Waymo cars ignored stopped school buses in Atlanta. What happens now? Atlanta Public Schools has reported 6 cases in which Waymos drove past school buses with their stop arms extended. What's happening here is the police can't give anybody a ticket. There's no person driving behind the wheel. They're not going to give the passenger a ticket if there's a passenger. Question becomes, how do police enforce the laws? How can they stop this Waymo? How can they communicate with Waymo, hey, our children are important. You're not stopping for them at a school bus. I think Waymo and NHTSA, National Highway Traffic, and said they're going to do a recall on the software and update the software. The real issue here is, how can the police a car that's not driven by a person? How do they punish somebody for breaking the laws? If I blow through a stop sign where there's a school bus and a child, I get a ticket. I get punished. Why isn't Waymo getting punished?
So here's what I wanted to say about it, though. So Derek Ashashawi, same years, 2017, 19, 22. And, well, last year, but also this year, he got a little more honest. And this year, because all the other years that I just said, he was doing what this is doing. And he said, full autonomous, all drivers gone by 2019 and 2017, by 2020 and 2019. But he kept moving it a year. This year, or last year, 2025, nothing this year so far. But last year, somewhere near the end of the year, somewhere October, November, he said that 40% of the U.S. Uber fleet will be fully autonomous by 2040. Okay, so for a guy that lied his ass off for 10 years and said it was the next year, he's finally now giving a piece of data that I still don't even think he knows that's true. But he's finally moved it down. Now, once node, so the Waymo test drivers, like I said, are responsible. Once no driver, no one is responsible. And it would have to be what we just showed, the product liability. Like, again, without the driver, even the police, we've spoke about this many times. We've showed you guys videos. Right. They come up to the car. They don't know what to do if it's their first experience. Now, it's been going on for a while. So other police have started talking and saying, dude, just do anything you can with the Waymos, whatever. There's nothing we can do, kind of. And that's such a horrible thing to say. But I want to go farther and say, so it would be a product liability case. So here's my thing. Wouldn't Jobby Air / VTOL / what else do they call it? Air Taxi, maybe. Air Taxi might be the newer name than VTOL, because VTOL was vertical takeoff and landing, but the Air Taxi will be a VTOL. The last time they did it in 2022, just so you guys know, and they said that VTOL by next year, they ended up launching Uber, I think it was just called simply Uber Copter, and it was going to launch in 17 cities. It launched in New York City, and they had one, and it was just a helicopter with a pilot. These VTOLs, they look sleek. The engines turn to go forward, but they also turn to land. Okay, those are going to be unmanned. So, aren't we going to be dealing with a product liability case?
Well, of course,
big time.
That's what.
I mean, no, there's no driver. So hold on. So Jobby, which has partnered with Uber several times, going back to 2017, it has never even been close. Needs to building, like, let's pick a city. Let's pick LA, since they keep talking about LA. This isn't just me using that big city for this. They always talk about LA. The infrastructure cost for LA is beyond what Google has for money. And this isn't even Google. Google doesn't have enough money to put an infrastructure in for this, because what it involves is re-architecting every rooftop in the city, rebuilding every rooftop in the city, which we all know would mean restructuring every building too, period. You're spending billions of dollars on every damn building. Complete city permits to meet every code, even down on the sidewalk level to anything they're doing. FAA regulations, good luck. The cost of the VTOLs, that makes the Waymos look like a joke. So, and we know for certain, again, this one's a for certain, no way they're getting insured. No way. Once they do launch their first flight, it will be at least 20 years before an insurance company will touch them. So here's my question. Since this is the 4th time and Uber's struggling, which they are, isn't this just PR? Because every other time it was just PR.
Well, I don't think it's quite like those stupid little DoorDash robots. I think there's so much Jetson fantasy the public wants to see. I think it's going to happen even
I
with the significant risk. I think
I
people's
think it's going to
emotions are
happen
going to
too. I just
override
don't think.
logic.
I just think it's all lies right now.
I think they're capable of it. I think by 2030, you and I are we got a bar bet. We're gonna have to
Okay,
figure out
but I
where
do
this
want to
goes.
but I do want to know the one thing I want to know, and that's fine. We'll have that bet. But
Yep.
the one thing I want to know from you is where is the and I know that we talk about these companies like Google. Let's pretend Google was even involved, which they're
Right.
not. But Google can't
No,
afford
they're
to
not.
do one single city. Google doesn't have enough money if they liquidate to do one single city what needs to be done.
But they can with the right mayor. And like we've seen with what happened in Denver, and you know I'm right on this with
Well, where's the money going to come from?
okay.
Because we're not talking about Waymo money here and the infrastructure that's needed for rideshare. We're talking about FAA, and we're in a war right now.
Right.
And they're talking about Dubai. Dubai had a hotel hit by a drone. Nobody's flying nothing in the next 20
Okay,
years.
but what's
That
the best
airspace is going to be so tight.
what is the best distractor to get things done, and then to say we're going to rebuild and we're going to grow, we're going to do greater things. War happens every single
Sure,
war.
but they're not going to. I mean, if that was the case, start flying everybody out of Dubai and all these other countries that they can't
And
get
they
out of that
will.
they're
I
stuck
think
in
they're going
right
to.
now. Do it right now with your water-powered BS. I'm sorry, I just don't
Right.
think we're there. And I think
Well, they don't-
again, I think this, and here's why. Had this come on, and they don't have many, but you know this too. They had like one
Right.
and a half decent quarter last year, but they've all the gig apps are reporting horrible right now. So last year, okay, maybe during a good one, you could have said we're gonna start doing this. Why is this coming at a time when the company knows drivers, merchants, customers, passengers, companies involved, like business partners, all of them are getting screwed. So the investors have had enough. They've been lied to enough, and they've heard about VTOL in the past. They know it's a joke.
Right.
Why is this the saving grace right now? Like, our company's doing so bad. Check out what we're going to do. That's how I see it.
Why? Because they're giving the investors something that Lyft, and I know we're going to talk about this later, isn't giving their investors, and that's that nasty little 4-letter word called hope.
Well, Lyft hasn't had. I've been saying this for years. Lyft has, even when people are like, no, and Sergio would come on, and Tom Kelly, and they'd be
Right.
like, Lyft has a path to. I'm like, Lyft had a path 10 years ago. I mean,
Right.
I haven't seen that it's going to be bankruptcy, but like, I always said it might. I'm like, dude, they didn't even do food delivery in the pandemic. Like, Lyft isn't doing
Right.
anything. They don't care. Like, they
And that's
just,
the
I feel like
problem
they've
with
just thrown up
Lyft.
their arms for a long time. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that what the things I listed, the infrastructure alone, I was looking into this for VTOL, it's mind blowing. It's like
It really
100
is.
million times what the EV trucking automation is looking at, which we know that's 25 years out, because they've
Right.
tried to lie about that so many times, so many.
Right.
And like, we all know that's BS. They can't get the autonomous cars working. They're not going to put trucks on a highway without like a station every 6 minutes, because look at how many problems the Waymos have. These trucks are going to be in ditches everywhere
Right.
with food supply and stuff. It's not happening.
Yeah, but dude, come on. What did you and I grow up with? And I called it the Jetsons fantasy, or whatever you want to call it. What was that? We'd watch the frickin' Jetsons go, oh, dude, that'd be so cool flying around up in the frickin' air. And that's what's in it's more about the psychological effect, and investors will look, that's where damn stock market is. It's more on emotion than anything else. And
Yeah, but the emotion should be quit lying to us, dude. And like, somebody bent over holding their stomach going, I'm in so much pain, Levy. You've got to stop. You've got to stop saying stuff, Uber. Stop.
But they're going to. But you're not wrong in what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm playing on the emotional market. You're playing on the logic, and to me, logic always loses in the market.
But
you buy
but
on
even if
the
it ended
emotional
up being
lows.
something where people are dumping a little money in to help save Uber, it's still not coming soon. I don't think.
I
Look,
don't know. I hope.
like when you
Go
said
ahead. I hope
2030 and Dara's
Yep.
saying 2040 for 40%, that's 15 years from now. 40% of rideshare will be autonomous. That's to me, that means he's thinking 5 to 10. I'm just saying that. But like,
right.
okay, so if we can't get that right, we're definitely not going to be allowed to fly around airports and Burbank Airport and LAX and stuff and be landing on rooftops with Ubers. Nobody's going to trust that at all.
Oh, I don't think it's coming to the US that quick. So let me clarify that. But I do. I think there's people who are way more risk adverse and I hope you are, for the sake of our drivers and the sake of the rest of the economy, I hope I am wrong, Steve. Please prove me wrong, everybody.
And I
Because
hope all you guys aren't, let's say it was fruition next year. I hope none of you ever get in one of these, because literally there's going to be no pilot. It's not a Waymo accident. You're dead. You're dead.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, just because I'm saying this is what I think is going to happen doesn't mean I support it. Okay, let's be very clear in that, because I think it's going to be devastating for so many fronts. I mean, shit, let's look at these Walmart drones or Amazon drones that keep crashing, and those things are freaking huge, let alone the rest of the stuff that's out there, like this Joby or aircraft. Dude, that's going to take out like half a neighborhood.
Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, we'll see. So Shawn and I have a bet. I don't even know what we're betting.
I don't know.
We'll look. One of us just knows. We just know we owe somebody a big surprise, cool something.
You get to wear an Avalanche You get to wear an Avalanche jersey for a month.
I honestly believe Uber would put 4 people's lives at risk, and I
know they will. That's why
get shot down, and I'd have to wear an Avs jersey.
Thank you. That's why I think it's going to come so soon, because they don't care about you. They don't care about the customer in the seat.
They should.
They just care about that green.
We're not going to talk about war here, but I was just saying, like, if there happened to be a war, like maybe they should just use these as the drones right now. Like, show us how you fly. Like, get them in there. Anyway.
They don't have the accuracy. That's the only problem.
Okay. They don't have the accuracy. They can't hit a roof.
Exactly. They'll land on the street on somebody's car.
So speaking of, this is a twofold here. Speaking of DoorDash, which I'm about to move us into here. By the way, guys, Monday podcast. Don't miss it. Rock and roll, baby. It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, with Torp. I was just ready to comment on.
I'm trying to save a lot of the DoorDash stuff because we have a lot we're going to talk about. But I do have something here. I do have this, and this is. There was one of these before that happened by a school, but let me play. This one isn't long. Let me play this. I want you guys to see how bad this is, and I want to see what Shawn's reaction is first, and then I'll tell you what I was thinking during this. Oops. All right, Shawn. You're the reporter on this story. What are you reporting?
Well, live here on the streets of LA, we have a negotiator in training that has decided to flee from the scene and doesn't want to be used as a bomb disposal tech. So he's fled the scene and now headed to Nicaragua. Back to you, Steve.
Exactly what I was thinking, dude. Like, what the hell is going on? You know what? And I mean this
don't know.
truly. Like at the first police line. Now when I started the video, it's already in a bit, but then when they zoom out, you can see where that first police line is he crossed. There's about
Right.
8 cops there. Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
even care. They know these things are issues. Why didn't a cop just
Right.
kick one over right there?
I would
Nothing
have,
else.
because
Just
it's a
kick
hazard.
over and then have it looked at for a bomb, because that's my thing too. How the hell did this cut through 3
Abso-freaking-lutely.
days of tape past 60 cops? They're moving aside for a burger.
Right. It's
And
LAPD,
it could
man.
be a bomb.
Right. Oh,
Let's be honest, dude. That's
absolutely.
not,
I mean, no, seriously, let's look at this postmortem. That's exactly, somebody could have had their little standoff going on and at the same time said, I'm going to order my DoorDash from, Jihad Central, and that sumbitch is going to go boom.
so, or somebody went and got an Igloo cooler at Walmart, painted it red, wrote Cocoa on it, and it's
Fair
not
enough.
even food or coming
Right.
from the food platform. Somebody's remote controlling it.
Absolutely. And they could have
I
took
mean,
out about
if
16
a
cops.
terrorist watches this, police wake up.
It's a
Because if a terrorist
it's a
watches
fr-
this,
yes.
they're going to see what all of us just saw. I don't know why 70 cops missed it.
No, you're right. It's a freaking playbook for them that could have took out about 20 cops right there.
And if you noticed, the buildings weren't small.
Right.
Who knows it is crazy what they allow, dude.
No, I'm with you, man.
Like I'm sickened by it. Like that to me, I don't know if you saw the one, but there was one in LA that was it went past a school where a shooting had just happened. This was a few years back. And it was an Uber Eats one. And the Uber Eats robot came up and the police officer lifted the tape. The tape was at knee level. He lifted it so the robot could go on the sidewalk in front of the school where the shooting had just occurred.
Right.
I mean, is this a joke? Because I know a lot of police I respect, but what the hell, dude? Are you that stupid? And if you're in a group of 8, are all of you that stupid?
And this is social engineering at its finest. This is the stuff you and I are seeing, but them, when they're in a situation like that, when they're almost in cognitive overload, is that they're just like law enforcement gets people to do, is they will comply with what you expect, because it doesn't seem out of the ordinary, because their brain they're dealing with this active shooter or whatever, and then all of a sudden they see the stupid little robot, and so they're in compliance mode even though they shouldn't be, to go, oh, I'm gonna let this stupid freaking thing go by. And that's what happens where vulnerabilities are created. So you bring up great points.
And clearly, drug dealers, this is what you should be using from now on. Go buy an Igloo cooler and some stroller wheels, and just remote control your stuff. Just like the Waymo driving cars. You can't be responsible. You didn't have the drugs on you. The robot did.
Right?
I don't know that robot. Never seen him before in my life.
Right. I don't know who the hell Austin is.
I was just trying to order lunch, man.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know it was a kilo of Coke.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just never ending. It is never ending.
Right.
So this is from March 4th. So Uber, Instacart, you know what? I think we have just enough time. I don't know if I want to go into this because I really wanted to get to the 2 subjects. And I think next week we're going to have to continue the dumpling part of it. But maybe let's at least hit the Lyft thing. Can you speak on the Lyft thing? And I'm going to pull up these pages, and I'll give us a little precursor for next week. We're going to do a lot on dumpling and prepped, but we're going to get your whistle wet tonight. So, but I'm going to let Shawn tell you something about Lyft, because it's it's something that was brought up by Reddit, but it's a damn good question. Oops.
Are you bringing anything up on that, Steve, or you want me to just jump into it?
Wanted you to give your 2 cents on it. I'm pulling up Dumpling.
All right. So the thing I've with Lyft and Reddit and is that I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was an article, I don't remember who it was, but they posted that they're worried about Lyft going bankrupt. Well, my opinion on that, and again, I'm always try and play devil's advocate, even though I'm always supportive of the drivers with it, is that no, Lyft isn't going to go bankrupt. Okay, are they struggling financially? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things, and I pulled up I did a ton of research on it. It's kind of funny because when you sent that to me as one of our discussion topics, I'm like, shit, this is something that's going to require a lot of research. Now, it doesn't, but for you to really dig into it and analyze it, you can listen to two sides of the world. You can listen to what the public sentiment is, which is important because, again, as I just got done saying earlier when we're having the Joby discussion, is that the stock market plays a lot on, on the emotion of it. But then you look at where the investment world is and so on and so forth, that people on Reddit are saying, oh, DoorDash, excuse me, Lyft is having all these problems. They're going to go bankrupt. No, Lyft is not going to go bankrupt because they have one huge important commodity. And if everybody step back and look for a minute, remember whenever everybody started using email and then everybody was collecting email addresses? What's the most important thing, Steve, to that? When you start a website and you collect an email, when you start collecting email addresses, it's not your website, it's not the product you have, it's that customer database. And that's the most important thing that Lyft has. So they won't go bankrupt just based on that alone. They'll either get acquired by somebody or a complete buyout.
Do you think theirs is worth anything anymore? Dude, databases aren't really worth that much anymore. People can go into AI and get, hey, give me the database from Lyft. Almost. You can't quite, but I'm just saying there are ways to get what the data sells for pennies on the penny these days from these companies, where they used to get like lots of money for our data.
I still think it is because you have a whole lot of consumer behavior. They are far inferior to Uber. Uber's the king of collecting consumer behavior data, but Lyft still has a lot of that is of value. And right now they're a biopoly. There's only Uber and Lyft really out there. So someone like Amazon who wants to do it, or DoorDash wants to finally get their shit together and go, I want to become a real player. What if DoorDash took everything and they went all in and bought Lyft? I think that's a possibility.
Yeah. So I mean, basically it's saying what it is saying here. If you guys aren't familiar, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, obviously, but what I do want to mention is that Lyft is trading as of today at $13.32.
Way down.
I mean, when Lyft IPO'd on the NASDAQ, it was at 79 at the end of the first day.
Right.
They thought it was going to go up.
I'm buying.
Near the end of this article, there's even a comment from here. It's just
when they go to 10, they're going to be vulnerable for a hostile takeover by, like I said, name it be DoorDash. And I know DoorDash has its own problems, but they've got money. And then Amazon's trying to start its little autonomous world. Holy crap, I can't talk. And they really don't have a partner for that. But guess what? They buy that Lyft list, then they got a turnkey business.
I think I'm not sure. I think Lyft is working with Cruise now again. These companies are the biggest sluts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, absolutely.
They make bar sluts look like angels.
Right?
I'm sorry.
They make truck stop lot lizards look sophisticated.
I'm serious. Cruise was with Uber for a while. Cruise played with Alphabet.
Yep.
Cruise has worked with Bolt. It's already worked with Lyft in Vegas, and they thought we don't work together well. Both our companies suck. Now they're back together.
Right.
It's just all PR. But here's what like one of the big posts in it was, any investors in Lyft? Lyft stock has been abysmal since its IPO and has done worse than the New York City taxi medallions have from their peak. And if you guys
They're
know,
not-
like there used to be a thing about taxi medallions that you could, you would buy it, you could hand it down to your son or your daughter, like mostly sons, I would guess back in those days, but you could hand it down to your family member. You were buying it. And the equivalent value of a taxi medallion, it's really strange. I don't really know what the hell this means, but the taxi medallions in New York City were like, if you go back 50 years, almost every year, it's exact to what a price on the New York seat on the New York Stock Exchange cost.
Stock exchange. Yep.
Which is just really strange to me. So like these medallions have gotten to, people in the 50s and stuff. Of course, money didn't carry as much weight, or you didn't have as much, even the rich people. But, you could have got it then. But at their peak, they were $500,000 plus.
Right.
Now you can't give these things away.
Right. I'm telling you, I think I think Lyft is fine. I'm going to buy at 10. I think they're going to get a hostile takeover. I don't think that they're.
Yeah, I think that is their only path to it. And even if it's them merging with somebody or hostile takeover, one of the two has to happen.
Yeah, and because look, the only way they became profitable was they financially raped their drivers, and then all of a sudden now they're having to pull back from that, and now they're back in the hole again. So they can't build a model that works. They need to get somebody to step in that's going to build a model that works. And unfortunately, us drivers are still going to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Brian Kern and Kyle made it in. I wanted to see this. I saw this of Kyle's. I don't think DoorDash wants to do rideshare. They want to be the number one delivery network. Well, they were the number one delivery network in the US. Now they only hold 53%, but they used to hold 70 plus. So they're losing their footing big time. The problem about DoorDash is even its side projects aren't doing anything. Their dots are a joke. They cost more than a Cadillac Escalade. And that thing looks like a Flintstones car for kids. It's a joke. These are all jokes. These igloo coolers cost $40,000 a piece. What is going, like, it's a threat that's not real, yet it is real because they're making, I'm sure that behind closed doors to the deep investors, they make it look like this is why the drivers get paid so bad. It's because we gotta pay for these things,
But that lends credibility to my theory because they are notorious for buying dead dogs.
I know.
What's another dead dog is Lyft.
Well, so okay, but why on earth didn't Lyft do delivery on March 29th, 2020? It was the day after the CARES Act passed, and we were all, for the first time in all of our lifetimes, maybe not, all of our lifetimes. There's no way that it wasn't. We were given shelter in place at your house orders.
Because Lyft is the Sears and Roebuck of the rideshare world. They think that they've got their little business model and they're going to do fine, but they're going to fall dead just like Sears and Roebuck, Kmart. I could go on and on and on about all these industries. Yeah, Blockbuster.
You know what? Lyft should have a Blockbuster in the trunk of every Lyft car that only has VHS tapes. That would prove to me and prove to all of you guys where Lyft is with technology.
And you have to have a little rewinder that you have to sit there and rewind it before you get out of the car.
It's just, so here's what I want to do, because we ran a little over, obviously, the story of we'll get into the Seattle one too, but so next week we'll start off with the dumpling and the prep stuff, but I want to talk about it a little bit. You guys know I got my dumpling hat, I got my dumpling shirt on right now. You guys know I've been doing this for years. Next week we will start off with it, and I will have examples. I will have, some of you have already seen them, but I'll bring in a lot. I'll bring in my zone. I'm going to share with you guys a lot of my personal information, which I don't a lot of times do. I share some, but I'm going to show you guys how I've done it, how I've mapped out where I'll work, how I'll work, how I set up my time blocks. And remember, for those of you that don't know about Dumpling, it started off as I've had the CEO on the podcast a few times. He's a good friend of mine, Joel Shapiro, but he started it as a grocery delivery app because of Instacart. If you go to dumpling.us now and you scroll down, you'll see a lot of, in fact, I want to bring it up and show you guys something that, or tell you something that, so now they're putting in their shipped too. Ship must be a big, have taken on a bigger, as much as Instacart did. Cause the things they say, so there's a lot on there, but, wait,
while you're pulling that up, what does BOSS stand for? Is that an acronym?
BOSS is the because you're the boss. It's the boss card, like I was telling you about too.
Okay.
So and there's actually a Dumpling University too that you get for the first 3 months, where you can just ask them anything, how to build it. Do I need an LLC? This is where I'm at. And the people who answer the phones at Dumpling are Dumpling shoppers.
Okay.
The support team are shoppers who have done this a minimal of 3 years.
So they're US based shoppers?
Yep.
Or
They're Seattle based shoppers.
Okay.
Who are successful at this. So
that's awesome.
But I wanted to go to some of these stats here. So what you get. So here's what Dumpling does for you in the bullet points. Your own personalized website for clients. I'll show you mine next week. You go to dumpling.us and they give you a backslash and shop with Steve. That's what I called it, but I actually have a different link. But you get that. You get the Boss Card, which that Boss Card allows you to buy up to $800 of groceries for every client you land or get through Marketplace. But as I was telling Shawn the other day when I was talking to him, most of them you're going to land. Most of the leads that come through Marketplace, at least for me, haven't played out real well, or the people are just kind of checking, but they're not. Most of the time it's land one client. That client tells 3-5 of their friends, and all 5 might contact you. Maybe only 2 you land as clients, but most of it is word of mouth. So you build it big. And I was even telling Shawn that the amounts that I have set are pretty simple. A minimum $20 per location you want me to stop at. And again, you set all your prices. You set all of this. And 15 or a minimum 20 at each location, or 15% of the subtotal, whichever is higher. So you guys can do that kind of math. You know what I'm talking about there. So, if it's, I'm at least getting $20. And I do have a client that has me go to Safeway, PetSmart, Whole Foods, and Target. That's $80 guaranteed. And you guys might be going, yeah, but how much is that? Well, if it goes over the, if it gets into where it's 15%, and a lot of these do, a lot of them are big shops. You might be shopping at each store $400 or $500. So you're these add up. But it's not just even about the pay. But even if they didn't tip, the pay is still better. And I'm going to show you guys the fees that they take on the processing credit card next week. So we'll be going through that part, because I've told you guys about this before, but I think that now more than ever, this is something you should look into. You're not stuck to just groceries either. They can okay you to do other things. You can walk a pet. You can pet sit. You can, I know Torp's in here, and I used Torp as an example when I was talking to Shawn. Torp works on cars. You can put on your page that you work on cars.
That's
if somebody wants
awesome
to save some money and they've gotten
versatility.
to know you from doing some deliveries, okay, so perfect example. One thing we can't do on Dumpling, but if you have a customer that you're tight enough with and you've done enough with, no app in the world is allowed to go to Trader Joe's, period. Now, Dumpling isn't an app and you're producing a credit card, but you're still not supposed to be there. But if you work something out with a customer that you've worked with enough, and you can figure out them sending you half of the money, or, send me $100 if it's a $200 shop, you've worked with them, you could just put it on your card, kind of thing. Like I'm not saying you should, but I've even had Joel, the CEO and founder, on the podcast saying, we're not allowed to. He goes, but if you have a good client, figure it out. Like, he is definitely all about just whatever gets around these crappy apps. And so you set your prices, you do all this. you can at the end, like, so I've done this before. I've had somebody, perfect example, the four I just read you. I've done all those shops, right? Let's say that they all stayed under, they all just stayed at the minimum 20. It's never happened, but let's say all of them just stayed at the minimum 20. That's $80 for my time. And then the client calls me on my way. I've finished the last shop, right? I'm on my way back to him.
Right.
The client calls and says, "Can you stop at Starbucks and get me 3 drinks?" I say, "Sure." I add it into there. That's a $20 stop, right? When I get to their house, I can waive that fee. Again, I control it. I control the pricing. I control a discount. I could give you half off.
So
I'm just
this
saying,
really
like,
becomes
that ability is mine to do, like, you know what, I'm going to just waive and I'm telling you guys this because that's a strategy. You don't want to like charge 20 on 5 and they called but I mean, like, they're going to tip you anyway. But if you waive that
Right.
fifth one, like if they're like, can you hit Starbucks? And they're thinking, okay, $100 and I'm going to tip them 50. I guarantee if you waive that, or I'm going to tip them, I'm going to make it 140. I'm going to tip them $40 and I'm paying 100 for the services. Guarantee if you waive that $20, you're going to get 175 to 200. I'm just saying. Happens every time, dude. Just doing that kind of thing and showing them that you're not
Right.
an app is huge. It's
Right.
absolutely huge.
That takes being a personal shopper to a whole new level is really what this comes down to, it sounds like.
But you can also add services. You can do other things. You could, like, I mean,
Right.
I had somebody, and I was telling you this, that I had somebody ask me about a butcher shop that no app is allowed to go in. And like, and
Right.
again, we've only ever been told about Trader Joe's. So I just thought, whatever, the boss card itself, let me just make sure that there's no number on the front. There isn't. The boss card itself is just a Visa.
Just a blank Visa.
Right. It's Visa, and like you're not pulling out a red DoorDash card or something. They don't look. They don't know.
Right.
And this is going to run. You have to give in-store prices. You have to produce receipts. In states like ours, where at King Soopers and Safeway, you can get gas discounts. You put in their phone numbers, they get their gas discounts. They get BOGOs if they're going on. You can call them, and they can take a picture of a handwritten list and send it to you, or they can put it through the app. Or they can use the Safeway or King Soopers app or Kroger app and do that there and then send you screenshots of their cart. I mean, like, basically you don't need it put in. You just need the authorization that I need you to go to this store. Okay. But I had somebody ask me about a butcher shop. It's not, nothing's on there till you list it's on there. I was like, okay. Cause they're like, I've even looked, they're just on none of the apps, but are you able to do that? I said, I think so, but let me go check. I went in there and I said, tell me what you want just in case. They told me. I went in there and I didn't ask. I didn't play it that way. I just did it. Right. I just pulled out the boss card, and it was, if it had been a problem, I would have asked and I would have talked to him. But
sure,
I put it in. He's like, thanks. Because I'm paying the in-store prices. The businesses love it. The customers love it. It's a win. Everybody's winning, and the apps get beaten down for it.
Well, and and you just made a huge point, is that there's not an upcharge from the stores. And again, I don't want to take, start digging into a whole lot of DoorDash stuff with that. But when it's just straight across the board, that leaves a lot more room for the driver to make some money in tips and the consumer getting a fair price.
And next week, guys, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you my page. I'm going to have it all preloaded in. We're going to put it up here like I was doing the video,
let's dig into
so
that.
that you can see Shawn
I can't wait
and
to see that, man.
Yeah, so that you can see Shawn and I too, and we can talk about it while it's up. It's going to be in the center, not taking the whole screen. But I'm going to put my earnings, how like it looks. You'll get you guys who do gig work, you'll get every sense of it. Trust me. You'll understand what I'm doing. I'll show you the zones I work. I'm going to show you every part of the app. But so, okay, here's just some, this is from December of 2024. I'm sure it'll update to 2025. Gathering data from Argyle and stuff can take a minute. But so this is a December 2024 comparison, which has gotten even worse. So okay, so These are average earnings across the country for dumpling shoppers at Target and Costco. And I'm going to tell you the amount. So Target, an order size of $212 at Target, you're going to make $60 before the tip. And that's using their baseline standard kind of out of the box. You're tailoring your costs, but that's their out of the box way of doing it, which is still more than fair to the customer. You're making $60 before a tip. And at Costco, $345 worth of subtotal, you're making 101. You guys, I know a lot of you who go to Target for Shipt even. I used to do Shipt. I know a lot of you go to Target for Shipt. Christopher Taylor, if he's in here, he does great with it. A lot. Lou and Mary used to, but they're not doing it as much anymore. You know, it's like many apps, it just doesn't pay as well as it used to. But look, you're making way more than when Shipt came out.
That's almost like 40, what is that, about 38% more to the customer, that they're saving.
And like I told you, I had a customer who had made an order on Instacart. This is too funny, you guys. It was like 35, 37 items. They literally made the same list for me. Okay. They tipped because of drip pricing and the way the Instacart kept pushing it out. By the time they got to the tip, they're like, I'm being ripped off so bad. Again, we all know they upcharge. Even that's in here. They straight up have that in here. Instacart and Shipt clients often pay more in store, miss out in sales and BOGOs. So like, they're telling you how much different it is at all this stuff, all these items. But so
right.
Instacart, this lady that I have as a client ordered Instacart. She ordered all her items. She paid the delivery fee, which shows to her more than $8, which is what or even $7 now. I'm not even sure which you drivers get paid. It showed delivery fee, and it probably showed $25. They think that goes to the driver. It doesn't. Then all the other fees, and then they only tipped like $5 because they thought the 25 was enough. That might be true if they were getting the real amount, and it's still, but they're still getting ripped off on the 30% upcharging of the items. But she ordered 37 items from, let's say it's 37, because if I'm wrong, it's only by a couple, but 37 items from Instacart, tipped $5. She paid whatever she paid. She ordered from me. She paid, I think it was just the $20 base. I did switch once too. I was running some different numbers, but it was the $20 base. She tipped me $50. She tipped me $50. And
wow.
But in the end, when she put the two side by side, she saved money using me on the dumpling order that was the same items. It was less.
Right.
With a $50 tip and a $20 base. I made $70. And that on Instacart, that would have made me $7 and $5. That would have made me $12.
Wow.
Dude, this isn't even funny, dude. That's what, 550%?
Right. And that shows how, this should be criminal, the stuff that Uber and DoorDash are doing.
Yeah. Well, it is. The people in the chat know this. You and I know this, Shawn. It is criminal. Right. It's being processed slowly, but it is being kicked down the road a little bit. But so now, and next week we'll get into how you can add other things in there too and whatnot. We'll talk about that. But I want to tell you about Joel's new project because it's super interesting. And we'll talk about this a little more too. I am not doing this yet, but this is a whole new undertaking that is pretty cool. It's called Prepped. Again, it's your business. This is not a offering app that's going to say, hey, here's a $5 offer to do a bunch of work for 3 hours. You want to do it? No, this is you, just like Dumpling, creating your thing. And it's preppedvacations.com. If you guys want to look at this, it's dumpling.us and it's preppedvacations.com before next week. Because any questions you have will be awesome, but I'm going to give you every detail because I think you guys need to know this. So It does a few things, like it does the primary goal of the starting was the Airbnb market, but they're into hotels. They're into doing things with resorts. Like destination locations are huge with this right now for obvious
Right.
reasons. But anywhere that has Airbnb is still worth pursuing. And I got to ask you guys, Shawn and I were talking about a lot of people just aren't going to go out and say, I'd like your business. Like they came from the W-2 world. They've been feeding off, they've
Right.
been fed offers that are horrible. Now you have the skill set. Can you get the skill set you don't have to be the best business salesman and you'll learn as you go, but do you have you know how bad it is and how bad they're getting ripped off. You can use ChatGPT and other things to create documentation. You can show people, go in there and show
Right.
them why you can do a better job for them and how much cheaper it is and how much they're not supporting an awful system. But it started with the Airbnbs. Why would anybody be scared to look? You can go to Airbnb, search Denver, and just start reaching out to people.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
I saw that you, especially if you find, what are they called? The people, the super hosts that have many locations or whatever,
Right.
and have a good tendency. Like that's a big shark right there, because
Oh yeah.
Airbnb now allows prepped vacations to when you book the Airbnb. If the owner puts the link in, you can add the prepped vacation to the Airbnb total, and the check is cut to prep that goes to you. It's insane because that's an option that says, hey, when I get to the Airbnb, here's all the groceries I want. We're bringing our dog. I need you to go to the store and get this stuff. And then before your trip even happens, you can request a call, or this is like a customer thing. And you call them and, I got dairy restrictions. Okay. Yeah. Our dog needs specifically this brand. Okay. Like you're not going to get a screwed up order. You're going to walk into an Airbnb and everything you need for the week you're there is in there. Boom.
Right. And as a Airbnb owner, you want to get a 5-star review, man. It's first impressions. That's what it's all about. You have a nice looking place, but you want to go over the top. Shit, have a bottle of wine and a charcuterie board there waiting for them. Even if they don't order anything else, even if you could tie in with that owner themselves instead of just the guest. I mean, your gold, there's gold right there for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like I was saying, and this wouldn't apply to many of you right out of the gate, but they do work with like resorts. So like people in Florida, this
Right.
might be something for you. I know a lot of people in Florida and Orlando who do Instacart, like Chad, our friend of the channel, Chad. He does a lot of Instacart. He is like, dude, I've never seen it be worse in my life this year. Okay, well, Chad, Orlando is a year-round hub with Airbnb. Every other house is an Airbnb.
Right.
Like, dude, meet some owners, man. Because I'll tell you this, I was telling Shawn, we can't afford the apps and all this stuff, and we wouldn't. I'm going to go get my own stuff. I'm not going to pay that kind of crap for fast food
Right.
or even groceries. But this, I'll pay for, because you're going to pay in-store prices. The receipt, again, the receipt has to be provided. All this, you're in connection with them. The Airbnb host is vouching for the fact that you will have it done. So, I mean, this is such a huge win if you're just willing to step outside of your comfort zone by just, and I'm not kidding, just a little, because I think if you step out of it a little, you might feel like I can do this.
And maybe that's something we need to do, is figure out, how do we encourage these people? I mean, you and I get on here and we'll just talk. We like talk so much. We think other people like to hear us talk. We got to help inspire some of these people to take that to the next level, Steve, because they can do it. And we want you guys to do it. We want you to make that extra money, that's out there. Forget the Uber and DoorDash. Find some of these other things like Prepped and stuff that's out there, and make that money, where you can actually take your own, special person out for an extra dinner or something.
I see Billy Pierce jumped in, and I also see that a Spockers is here.
welcome
What's
in.
up, guys? I forget where you're from, Billy. I know Spockers. I've known him for a while, and I know he's in South Carolina. And again, South
Kyle
Carolina
came in.
I kind of pointed out Spockers though, because South Carolina, oddly, you got a lot of beach stuff where there's Airbnbs. Boom, good lord, dude.
Absolutely.
Like you
Kyle
again,
came in.
like shopping isn't my thing. Is it your thing if you're paid $200? It isn't my thing to do
It's
shopping
not
on
mine.
Instacart either, because I don't like making $4.50 an hour.
Right.
But if that's going to be $150 for an hour and a half of my work, I like shopping now.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying, guys, like this is what it is.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of food delivery, but you know what my number is and what it takes me to get to do it. All of a sudden, I find this wonderful little catering app that Steve turned me on to, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, it's honestly like again, I'll leave it at this for this week, because it's going to take, we're going to have to, showing you everything's, I think, going to really change your world a little. You still might not do it.
Yeah.
But every time Holly and I used to do these, Holly Camp and I, and she does a lot of it in Sarasota, we used to do these dumpling lives. Not everybody, like if 30 people were watching, but one or two always would email us after the fact. And some of them got on and did it. You know what? Some of them have been very successful. So, you know what? The $2 no tip orders, waiting and waiting and hoping on a $4 no tip or a $6 no tip. Ooh, that's a good one. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is I can say this. I've been saying that until November. By November, a lot's going to happen in every state. And if you're like, not my state, we're red, or every state. It's all a little different, but every state. But here's my thing. Don't wait till the bottom is gone on the boat. At least explore it. You don't have to love it, but I guarantee, because I don't love shopping either. But like Shawn was saying, you put the right dollar on it. I love shopping as opposed to $2 no tip orders.
Right. And sitting and getting not just financially drained, but emotionally drained with the loser
and
after
it's
loser
your
after loser.
And it's your business. So it's like,
that's how you always have to look at it.
Exactly. And it's two different ways of looking at it too, because dumpling is about building your business like right here out of my house. I'm like, let's go. And if you're thinking, but the other one bases on people traveling only once. Yeah, but you're working with the Airbnb hosts or the resort concierges and stuff. So they literally, you're not getting the same clients. It's kind of a little different than dumpling, but you're going to have constant business during their heavy seasons.
Right.
Just saying, we got a lot more to talk about on that. Did you have a safety thing?
I do, but you know what? Let's just hold it for the next time, because I'm like so excited about this prep thing. I want to look in. I'm going to look into it, because Colorado Springs, we got a lot of tourism and a whole lot of Airbnbs down here. So I want to look into that one. So I get distracted.
And you really do. I mean, with all, especially like in the hot months and stuff, which is winter now.
Absolutely. I know we're already at 65 today.
I'm just saying, but like you really do. You got Garden of the Gods, you got Seven Falls, you got Bat Cave, you got
Cave of the Winds.
You got everything, man. You got all these different things that people come down there for, other than just Pikes Peak and the beauty too, and Manitou Springs, where all the witches live. And
Yep.
But I mean, there's a lot of them down there. Like, so maybe your homework before next week is to contact one Airbnb owner.
Oh man.
Even if he says no, just to see just say, I'm not even ready to start this yet. You can even just say that. I'm just wondering what you think of the idea.
Actually, I know of a property management company that does stuff for Airbnbs. So they come in and do all the cleanup and this and that. I bet they don't have that service. So I'll do that. I'm going to stop by. I'm going to see if I'm going to go door knock them.
Yeah. I mean, Prepped is very new too, by the way. Like Prepped is, I mean, it's been around a little over a year, but this isn't like Dumpling that's been around since, Dumpling's been around since 2016, you guys. They've been around a long time. But Prepped is new. This is a whole new game.
Same founder though, right? As
Same
with,
founder, and for us it's pretty cool because the CEO is Joel Shapiro for both. The founder is Joel Shapiro for both, but the COO, the chief operations officer, the day-to-day lives in Aspen. Or lives in Vail, sorry, lives in Vail. And that's where he started this. He's a friend of Joel. He started it there himself, just not wanting to do Instacart anymore. This didn't exist. And he said, screw this, dude. I'm going to start talking to people. He got to know all the people in Vail. He said, sweet, dude. He started making like, guys, he's clearing well over 60. He's clearing well over 6 figures, working like under 40 hours a week. I'm gonna be honest. I've talked to the guy before.
Because when you first started talking about prep, that's why I immediately, that was where I went, was to the mountains. And I was thinking Breckenridge for the rest of you. It was like, that's like the perfect market. Even a better market's Vail. And if you can get into it, even better is Aspen, because those are the type of clients that you want to hook into.
Right. Or Sarasota, like the beach towns in Florida.
Right.
Like where Holly does it, or any of the beach towns.
Absolutely.
Daytona,
any
whatever.
of the beach towns. Right.
I would even claim
Gulfport.
that the Daytona during like spring break, when you're like, dude, those are college kids, they won't pay. They'll pay.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Huge to not have to go to the store.
And they got mommy and daddy's money, so they don't care.
Yeah. And Dumpling didn't used to allow to buy alcohol or cigarettes. Alcohol is allowed now. Cigarettes still no.
I was going to ask about that because I saw that on the Prepped website that they had a few bottles of wine with all the other stuff. So you can do that with them.
Just not cigarettes. But like okay, so Holly Camp, who does a lot in Sarasota, she calls these clients, or if they call her and say, hey, can you also pick up smokes? We didn't see it on the list where we could put it on. And she's like, I'm not allowed to, but I mean, at that point, you know, she's making, you know, she's doing prep, by the way, but she's making like $400 for the one job. She's like, yeah, I'll pick you up 5 packs of cigarettes and you can just get me in the tip. That's how she handles that.
What if you're a Louisiana mayor and you want a Plan B? Can you order that too?
I don't know, man. Yes, probably, you know. I'm still confused. I know that everybody seems so sure that she was the one that got pregnant. I think some other sketchy stuff was going on, but okay.
Right.
Anyway. Again, we will touch on that next week along with other stories, but we'll start with that stuff so that we can conclude it first. Then we'll move into some other good stuff. Because some has been getting pushed back. And Bubba Sue says Shawn's got homework. I challenge any of you to call an Airbnb. You don't you don't have to be ready to do this. You could say, hey, I'm kind of and you're called a partner when you work with them. So just pretend like you're already partnered up. You know, it's not a lie. I mean, like, because if you find one, you're gonna do it. So like, say, you know, hey, there's a new company that's been around for enough to have legs. And what it allows me to do is buy groceries on a $20 hold from the card. And then I get a card and I can go do their shop. I can go take it to the Airbnb and I can stock the fridge before they get there. I can stock everything they need. And okay, sure, yeah. I mean, here's my thing. If I'm an Airbnb owner, why wouldn't I allow that?
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to want to meet with you. I'm going to say, let's meet. Let's have a cup of coffee.
Right.
I'm going to want to, you know, get a read on you and how you,
because it's my reputation as well.
Sure. Like I guess my point is this isn't a time to be in ripped jeans and stink. That's for DoorDash. That's only while dashing.
Yep. So
and that's because of the horrible pay. But I mean, you don't have to wear a suit, but just put on a clean shirt and put on some clean pants and smell good. That's it. And be straight-minded when you get in there. And I'm telling you, they'll be looking for the underbelly. They're not going to find it.
Right.
There's not a problem here. It's a win-win-win for everybody. So, and if you guys have, I mean, everybody who's traveled and used Airbnb, I was saying this to Shawn, and I bet you guys will agree. No matter what, you get there and you're just so excited to be on vacation, and then you're like, damn it, I have to go to the store. And you start talking, what do we need? Who's going? I'll drive the rental car. Like, it's just a pain. And it's like, that's your first night there. Why not just get there and it's there? In-store prices. I'll tip the guy $100 to save I'm on vacation, man.
But check this out. So you go and pick somebody up from the airport and they're going to their hotel or they're going to their Airbnb and they still haven't got their damn groceries. There's an opportunity for you even to do some shopping for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like my friend Holly, who does Prepped, she does a thing where she leaves a card like a folded card in the fridge and arranges it really nice that says, while you're here, if you need anything, don't hesitate to call.
Absolutely.
So they run out of baby formula, water, whatever, and go, we don't need much, but we do need a few things. I got you.
Right. Absolutely.
Guys, it's business. And the app's paying $2 without a tip for a tenth of a mile is insulting, insanity, pathetic, rude, and just outrageously in every way against every ethical thing I know.
Yep.
So you know what? It's time to think outside the box. It doesn't have to be this, but we're going to finish up on it. We just told you about two things that you can earn more on these two than any of the apps. It's up to you.
Yep.
But you
guys,
we're
the only ones willing to work 80 hours a week, so we don't have to do a W-2 for 40. Let's make the most of it.
And wouldn't you rather have your customers and an app you can't be deactivated from? Cannot.
Right. Even better.
It's not an app. It has an app, but it's not an app.
Torp, you don't have to wake up every day wondering when you're going to get deactivated or if you're going to get deactivated.
Yeah, there is no deactivation.
No.
I mean, unless you committed a crime or something. I mean, you would have to go so far.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, like, guys, this might not sound like it, but next week I'll bring around the dumpling things and some of the other things you can do. Like I even mentioned about Torp. He works on cars. You can put it on there on dumpling. I work on cars.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into the details of how it all works. But Shawn will be with me all month. We will be throwing down. I want to get as much info out this month as possible on Thursdays so that we can really, I mean, we're coming into spring, guys, and I don't think the apps are going to decide, you know what, even with the legislation going on, I don't think they're going to go, let's start paying everybody a base pay of $15. Nope. Let's do that.
Right.
That while there is legislative changes coming, there is not app changes coming other than what's being forced on them. And in the past, they've just blown that off, but they can't anymore. That's why I've been telling you this is such a big year. But before spring, why not start trying something else? Man, what if something took off for you? You don't know till you, I hate to, I'm not your parents, man, but you don't know till you try. You know?
Right.
But check out Shawn's channel. It's a CO Ride. So CORIDE Guy. That's just at CO Ride Guy. And on YouTube, check it out. Give him a like, give him a follow. I don't even feel weird saying this stuff. I just know all of you feel weird hearing it. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I know that people feel so weird about it that I just don't do it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, check out a channel, give it a sub, give it a like. You know, I wouldn't do it about channels. I would only send you to channels I believe in. So like for me anyway. But check out his channel. That's a wrap. Until next time, guys, be safe, be a hustler, and earn smart. And we will see you back here next Thursday night. And and don't forget that we have, why is it not here? On Monday. It's going down, dog. You guys are going to be very surprised what Torp and I are going to be talking about, by the way. I know that all of you probably have some things in your head. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know. But I will tell you, I have some very real stuff planned, and Torp and I are looking forward to it. So that said, guys, we're out of here. We'll talk to you soon. See you next time.
Good night, y'all.
Peace.